Hello and welcome. And you know we're getting to that time of year again. And you know what I'm talking about. We're into December. We have about 3 weeks left, 4 weeks before the calendar flips over to January and a brand new year appears. And about this time we start thinking about what our goals, our expectations for 2022 will be. And for most of us, goal setting is a bit of a headache. It's something we feel almost obligated to do, but it's a chore. It's not something that fills our heart with excitement, at least for most of us. And in the article that accompanies this video, or I'll give you a link below where you can go and read the article, because there are a couple of things in the article that I don't include here, and I'll tell you a bit more about that later. But in the article, I give you 9 reasons or things that cause us mayhem in setting goals and in doing getting our ideas out for 2022. So, as a crevat, before we go on, everything that I'm going to be asking you to do, suggesting that you do, is to write these down physically. Okay? So in this episode, we're going to look at the one thing that you have to do, that you need to do first, before you start writing anything down for 2022. And then I'm going to give you 3 ideas that you can use to set yourself up to begin to write the goals for 2022 so that you can live the life of your dreams. Now, maybe you think it's all hocus-pocus, something like that. You know what I'm talking about. It's like, why should I write goals down? They never come true, or I've done New Year's resolutions and, by the end of January, they're all forgotten and we're back into our same old, same old. Well, number 1 is, if we don't try, and if we don't set out a route or a plan, or we have no way to get there because we have no roadmap, and basically we're going to build our roadmap for 2022 over the next 3 segments that I'm going to do. So in this episode, we're focused on the one thing you need to do before you start to write anything down as far as goals or plans are concerned. And I'm going to give you 3 suggestions on how we go about that. So, welcome to episode 21. My name is Nick Grimshaw, and in case you haven't seen me before or heard from me before, what I do is teach people seeking to live inspired lives how to use the tools of affirmation, gratitude, mindfulness, and meditation to achieve the life of their dreams. That is what I do. My dream is to live in a world where we are all free to pursue our unlimited potential. So the first thing we're going to talk about in this episode is a review. So before we even start to think about 2021, we need to do a review of 2022, sorry. We need to do a review of 2021. And I can just see all the horses running every which way now as everybody's going down the track and thinking of all the things that went wrong in 2021, especially because we're still in a pandemic year and things have gone wrong or not according to plan. But we don't want to go to all that negativity because you've already been there. Let's face it, you've probably already got a list of all the negative things that have happened in 2021. And yes, some things didn't go well in 2021 for us, but we want to focus on the things that did go well. We want to balance out, I'm always about balancing out that negativity with some positivity. So the exercise is one I've talked about before. It's what went well exercise. And in this case, we're going to ask ourselves what went well in 2021. This forces your mind into a positive spin. You're going to start looking for, my recommendation, 5 things that went well for you personally in 2021. And it doesn't have to be a business thing. It could be like a vacation you managed to take, the fact that you got back to visit your family, all of those things. Everything is there. What are the 5 top things that went well for you this year? And a short explanation of why that happened or why it was important to you. It's a simple exercise. It doesn't take long to do, but please write the list down. You're going to refer to it later. It's going to be fuel for the fire for 2021. So write those things, those positive things that happened to you in 2021. And I just want to give you a quote from Peter Marshall. And he says, small deeds done are better than great deeds planned. And I want you to think about that and keep that with you as we go through the process of beginning our work on 2022. Okay, so once you've done that, we're going to go on to look at the things that to acknowledge, basically. Acknowledge the things that maybe didn't go well. But we're going to put a positive twist on this as well. So again, it's pen to paper, but in this exercise, what I want you to do is think about the challenges you had this year, especially the ones that forced you to grow. And this is one of the keys of using gratitude, because we see from our challenges that we were being taught something, and that if we were paying attention, we grew from that experience, from that obstacle. So when you start thinking about that, and you start thinking about something that you set a goal for you may not quite have achieved, or didn't even get close to, what were the challenges in that from which you learned? So I'll give you an example of one of my own. Like, one of my goals this year was to read 50 books. Now that was the goal, okay? And I'm not going to quite get there. I'm going to get close. I'll probably be around 40, 42 books. But you can see like all the holes in that strategy. It's like, well, one book could be like, and I read a couple of books that were over 1,200 pages. So you go, they should have counted for 3 or 4 books, and if I'd done that, well, then I would have made my goal. So what I'm looking at, that challenge of reading that number of books, it forced me to look at all the reading and listening and so on that I do during the year. And now I'm looking at that and going, what I learned from that experience of trying to read those 50 books is that it's not a very good goal. And that I need to, if I'm going to use some kind of goal like that for next year, I need to find a way to encompass the purpose of reading those 50 books. Okay, so that's just one idea. What challenges and obstacles did you have that you had to overcome, and just write it down on a piece of paper. You're just journaling. It doesn't have to be fancy. You could put it in a journal. You could write it on a OneNote or a Evernote on your computer. But I really highly recommend you physically write it down. Okay? So there's the 2 steps that you're going to do. And the 3rd step is release. We need to release 2021. And there's all kinds of reasons to do that. And we are terrible at holding on to things. We want to hold on to, the past. Maybe there's some great memories from 2021, and we want to hold on to them. We want to hang on to, I don't know, a relationship or something, and we want to latch on and keep hold of that and bring it into 2022. But the problem is we don't want to bring all of our luggage into 2022. We want to be done with this year so that when we get into planning for 2022, we truly are focused from a clear space without any encumbrance from the past. And we tend to, that we carry our baggage with us. We get juice from some of the things that happen. So that's part of the reason of looking and writing down about your challenges, because sometimes we get juice out of that, and we can tell that story for 6 months into 2022, but it's not serving us any purpose. So one of my suggestions for releasing, because it's kind of hard to release, but one thing we can do is hold in our minds the idea of 2021. And just sort of like you're holding it and you're looking at it, and you're looking at it maybe from a little bit of a distance. And what you want to say to release it is, I love you, and I release you to the stars. Or some such. I love you, and I let you go. You've been a great experience. Enjoy your freedom among the stars. Something that just is a ceremony, if you want, or a ritual. They're really important to do those sort of things. And then let 2021 go. And in the article that I'm going to link below, I do a visualization. It's at the bottom of the article, and you can click on it and actually go there with me and do the physical visualization of actually closing the door on 2021. Okay, so I really recommend that you look for the article in the link below and go and at least do the closing ceremony, if you want. We have, like for the Olympics, there's always a closing ceremony, and that is to officially end, put an official place. We don't let it sort of drift into another year. So we want to cut the drift. We want to release and be clean and free when we sit down to a clean piece of paper and begin to write our goals into 2022. So that's all I've got to say. The article maybe go into a little bit more detail, but those are the sort of the little exercises. What went right? What did I learn from my challenges in 2021? And release 2021 into the field, so that you are working with a clean slate. Because our next part for next week's video is going to be about not using the default template. And It's something that is so easy to do, and when you're doing design on a website or something like that, you get to understand about the use of templates. Templates are really handy. You just pop up the template and then fill in what you want to fill in the spaces left in the template, and that's can be okay. But we don't want to do that with our goal planning. So that's what we're going to be talking about next week. How to break that template and start afresh. And in the third, we're actually going into how to write out those goals and those dreams. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this. If you like this video, please give me a like and a thumbs up and subscribe if you want notifications for when we're going to do our next video. And we always our goal is to always have a video up each Monday with new content for you every week. So it does pay to subscribe, and you'll get the next, we're going to do the 3 segments. And then I'm looking at doing like a webinar and doing a little bit more in depth for anybody who has questions or needs help in this planning process. Okay, now I hope that wasn't too how can I say it? I know we don't like getting into writing goals, but let's look at it from let's go back to the positive. That we look at this as an exciting adventure that is going to help us in 2022 live the life you've been dreaming about. What have you been dreaming about? What is it you want in your life in 2021? And we'll be talking about that further. In the meantime, you know the drill. Dream big, and please, please live inspired.